Hi, it's Kevin Sharp. Today, my guest is cartoonist Lucy Sullivan, the creator of Shelter. Lucy, thank you so much for joining us and bringing a book and an artist that probably a lot of our viewers are not going to be familiar with.
Yeah, so I hadn't realised that that would be the case, and I checked, and this book is actually out of print at the moment, but it is a Fantagraphics book. So this is a creator called Gipi, I think that's how you pronounce it. So it's Gipi. It's an Italian cartoonist, and I've been buying his work for a long time. I can't even remember the first time I bought it. It's been a good decade. I've brought today his latest book, which is called One Story, which is a mammoth graphic novel. I mean, it's just over, I think, oversized A4. It's heavy, but it is an astonishing piece of work. So I really encourage you to check out Gippy's work.
Was this a case of you were already a fan of his work and so you just
Yeah,
buy anything new that comes out?
yeah. I've since I bought this. Actually, I bought two other books that he did that I didn't know I had. Yeah, I'm obsessed. I think everyone has that one or two or more creators that you just are obsessed with. And for me, Gippy just, everything he does, I just fawn over and I wish I was him.
Let's get into the book itself. And as we talk, the viewers will see the page. Now, you've chosen a double page spread here.
Yeah, because for me, I can't do single pages. I find it hard enough to choose one page within a comic because a comic is the narrative for me. It's a full experience. I find it so hard to go, oh, this one page encapsulates this comic because I think it's the experience of the whole story. But equally, and I would have thought that Gippy, like a lot of cartoonists, designs spreads rather than singular pages. I think you're always thinking about how something looks in juxtaposition against the other, and I'm sure he has done with this because there is a repeat of panels and things that would suggest that it's, yeah, considered as a spread. But I can't look at single pages unless it's like the first or last page and go, that's been designed as a single page. Otherwise, there's no way they're not thinking about it as a whole. So the tale is about two generations of a family. It's a man in his 50s who's sort of realised, he's got that, woken up one day, divorced, life's falling apart, kids are growing old, and he's had some sort of breakdown and he's in a psych ward. And he's seeing images of his great grandfather who was in the First World War in the trenches, and the two lives interplay. What Gippy uses as a device is a number of techniques, and he's so proficient as just a really loose sketcher or a really detailed inker, but his watercolor is just divine. And this spread, he uses all of it at once. It shows the full range of what he can do, but he attributes, so the gentleman who's having the breakdown in his 50s, he's just this beautifully rendered watercolor with really sharp ink lines over the top. Everyone he sees in the real world, he considers 2D, so they're very flat colored, very simple line. And then his visions of his great grandfather are often, or this tree that brings them together, the branches of their family tree, are just ink. So the whole spread, sort of, as you'll see, just bounces between one another, but it has a device. It's like, what I love is there's a point where the two meet. You've got the watercolor of the doctor, the guy having the breakdown in the psych ward, and the doctors are flat coloured behind him to show that he is detailed and they are nothing, and he's just ignoring them because he doesn't believe they're real. And I think, yeah, it shows the range of what he's capable of as an artist. And then he adds in really clever play of how the lettering's done, because he letters his own work as well, which is just another kind of level of competence that I would kill to have. But it's sort of the lettering on the first panel sort of slides behind the character, so you lose it and you realise that's because he's muttering and he's just in the grip of this moment, and it sort of slides down into the page and through this tree before it comes to him talking to himself. And then the doctors are trying to talk to him and he's just like, no, they're not real, don't turn around, just don't engage with them. And it goes back in, like, the page ends with him back into this delusion where someone's like offering him some really, what does it say? Are you interested in a vampire hauberk of shit? I don't even know what that is. And it's just this delusion where some random creature is trying to sell him something on a beach. So just anything so that he doesn't have to be in this hospital with these doctors talking to him. It's just, I think a good, brilliant spread is a story in itself. And this, you don't even have to read the whole comic. You can read just this spread and get a really amazing idea about the story. And I think you could put that out in the world and someone would walk away and feel like they've had a moment of sort of profound thinking from it.
Since we're on the Comic Art Fans channel, I have to ask, do you own any original art by this artist?
I don't. God, I'd kill to. He never comes to the UK. And sadly, I'm yet to be able to afford to go to Italy. But if I ever get there, I think he's quite a reclusive as well. But oh my God, I would, cut off a limb and sell it to own a piece of his artwork. But also, I started reading this when I got it when I started working on my new book, which is also watercolor and ink, and I had to stop reading it because I just thought I'm never gonna be
No.
able to achieve this level of skill, and I had to just put it aside until I finished my book and I could come back to it. And I think I'd feel the same with his work. Like I'd want it on my wall, but also I'd find it deeply upsetting because I'll never be that good.
We've crossed over from inspiration to intimidation, kind of.
Yeah, it's like, but that's the point, right? I think when it's something that you do yourself, I sort of, it fully, there's a cleanliness to his scrappiness that I admire. I'm a very scratchy, sketchy artist, and I sort of have to embrace that because I'm just messy, and there's no way around it. But he manages to do both, manages to make it messy and yet clean, and there's just something deeply satisfying about that I will never achieve because I'm just too messy.
Great. Well, Lucy, thank you again for joining us and for probably introducing an artist to most of our viewers who may not be familiar with him. So we may have created some
I
new
am
fans.
delighted to and honoured. Please go and find Gipi's work. It will be an edifying experience, and you'll realise why I am gushing so much.